We're working on using Pythagorean identities to solve quadratic trigonometric equations. So look at this equation, for example. We can't solve it using any factoring method we know. So we've got tangent here and secant here, and it's not a GCF situation, so factoring is out. But what I do look at and recognize is that tangent squared is part of a Pythagorean identity, because 1 plus tangent squared theta equals secant squared theta. So I'm going to solve that identity for tangent squared theta to know that it's secant squared theta minus 1. We can replace then tangent squared theta with that identity. So it becomes oops, that was weird. So it becomes secant squared theta minus 1 plus 5 is 4 secant theta. Then everything is in terms of secant and it's quadratic, so I'm going to get it on one side and factor. So this becomes secant squared theta minus 4 secant theta plus 4 equals 0. From there, it just factors to secant theta minus 2 times the quantity secant theta minus 2 equal to 0, which tells me I can set secant theta minus 2 equals 0, so secant theta equals 2, which tells me cosine theta is 1/2, and then going to the unit circle tells me theta is pi over 3 and 5 pi over 3. Let's look at one more. So those are my two answers. Let's look at one more example. So here I've got cosine squared theta minus sine squared theta equals negative cosine theta. Once again, I've got two different trig ratios, both cosine and sine, and I don't have a GCF I can factor out. So I want to get it all in terms of sine or cosine. So since I have this linear cosine term over here, it's not squared, I can't do anything with that. So it looks like I'm going to want to replace sine squared theta. So I'm using that good old Pythagorean identity that says sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta equals 1. So that tells me that sine squared theta equals 1 minus cosine squared theta. So let's make that substitution. So, goodness. Cosine squared theta minus 1 minus cosine squared theta equals negative cosine theta. It's pretty important I have these parentheses right here, because otherwise I'm going to have issues with that negative sign in front. So this becomes cosine squared theta minus 1 plus cosine squared theta equals negative cosine theta. So let's get like terms on one side. This becomes 2 cosine squared theta plus cosine theta minus 1 equals 0. That's going to factor to 2 cosine theta minus 1 times the quantity cosine theta plus 1 equals 0. Set each factor equal to 0, so 2 cosine theta minus 1 equals 0, and cosine theta plus 1 equals 0. Solving the left one gives me cosine theta equals 1/2. On the right, I have cosine theta equals negative 1. So going to the unit circle, here's pi over 3 and 5 pi over 3, and this one gives me pi, so those are our three solutions.